Now, did you know this, that the United States is now an officially receiving nation of missionaries? Now, that may be a bit of, I don't understand. It's from us to the West, the West to the rest, and it's been that type of thing. Why are we sort of into this? So, just some of the demographic shifts. In 85% of Americans were non-Hispanic whites. 2015, 64% of Americans were non-Hispanic whites. In 2065, 36% of Americans will be non-Hispanic whites. In 2017, anyone who was 5 years or younger were now majority minority. Do you know what I mean by that? So the whites are now a minority, and that was back in 2017. So 2014, there are now more than 20 million children under the 5 years of age living in the US that are now become these minorities. So one of the things that we need to consider is, and when we looked at our churches, if our churches only reflect this white understanding, we are now in the minority. And if our churches continue on that projection for another 20 years, we will become irrelevant. So this shift has come, and it's not going away. So one of the things that we have to consider in regards to our own outreach is, what are we doing in regards to reaching those that are minorities? So 2045, US will be a majority minority. So here we come, sort of the racial makeup of the United States. We happen to have 49% white. Hispanic is the second one. Black is at 12.7. Asian, 7.9. Multiracial, 3.7. And then the sort of other category. But this is the way that the United States is beginning to look like. So already we are now in the majority. Now, who are sending missionaries? This is kind of interesting. Of course, we at the United States have been sending missionaries. Brazil is second, Korea third, Philippines is fourth, and these are the top 10. So then we go to Nigeria, and we keep on sending missionaries to Nigeria, but they're sending 20,000 missionaries. China, we're getting 15,000. UK sends out 14,000. India, 10,000. Germany, 10. France, 10. So it gives you an understanding of where these sending countries are. And we're thinking, okay, we've got people, we're sending missionaries to the Philippines, Nigeria, to China, to India, but things are now shifting. And we need to be understanding that this shift is taking place. So the mission field has come home, because our congregation looked like this. So here are some of the things that when there was a survey done and people were understanding that missions had come here, or actually missionaries are coming to the United States, the question was why are the missionaries in America? Isn't this a Christian country? How many of you have thought that? And then we send missionaries out. We don't bring them in. Sort of the other reaction of people. Another one was missionaries in America. I've never heard of such a thing. But here we have Grace Chinese Baptist Church. You just travel and you will see many of these ethnic churches, Korean, Armenian, Assyrian, just a number of different churches. I think this was sort of an interesting number. What about the number of immigrants and emigrants that come to the United States or to North America? And we have 50,632,836 And this is according to 2020 statistics. These number of people that are coming into the United States. Canada at 8 million. And then as far as for immigrants, those are those who come just sort of moving over at 2 million. But you can see that the demographics are definitely shifting with these major populations. And one of the questions people are saying, no, you know, America is fill in the blank. But frankly, as we started at the beginning, it's from everywhere to everywhere. So I had mentioned my one friend that is going back home because of his mother is ill and possibly dying. We were doing WhatsApp Bible studies with the family. So we were connected with people back in his home country. So this is the type of thing that is going on constantly. What about international students? We happen to have 886,000 international students that are here in the United States right now. And that's going to be a huge population of different people. So where are they coming from? Well, we've got 28,000 Canadians, 15,000 Mexicans, 13,000 Brazilians, but then we get 103,000 Indians, 54,000 Saudi Arabians. You have the Taiwanese, the Chinese by far at 274,000. South Korea at 68,000. But there is this number of students that we are having that are coming here. And you've got Iran at 10,000, Turkey. So many of the places that we want to send missionaries to, we happen to have them currently in the United States. And we need to think beyond just our own ethnic group to say, okay, God is bringing them. What can we do in regards to reaching them? So for the International Church there at UIC, this is very much the part of the campus. Top receiving countries of missionaries. United States was the #1 sending, but we happen to be the #1 receiving of missionaries at 38,000. Russia is second, Brazil is next, Congo at 15, South Africa, UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Argentina. These are the top 10 in regards to countries that are receiving missionaries. So it may be a shock to realize that the United States is the #1 receiving. So the question becomes, why in the world are they coming here? So the locations are from these different countries. So #1 reason why they're coming here. They want to evangelize both locally and internationally. So that was one of the top reasons they're coming. Not all of them are just sort of spiritual. It's a prime location for self-supporting missionaries. So children can get a good education. They see that the world is the United States is the best country. So let's go to the best country and do it. And then it happens to be the wealthiest country. And we poor people that only go after money, we need to hear the gospel. And they want to be in the greatest nation. Like I said, it was not always, the spiritual reasons behind this that people are coming. We'll go on. U.S. is the modern Rome. For many of the people they're looking at, if you want to reach the rest of the world, it's the great place to base your ministry movement. So they're coming here. As well as the U.S. is a global nation of nations. And if they evangelize in America, they can reach people from the four corners of the world. So the United States is therefore the most important mission field. So the question we need to ask ourselves, do we have the same mentality as what we see these missionaries coming to the United States? So evangelism, launching a movement, it becomes very, very much of an important part. So this was done by Rebecca Kim at Pepperdine University in regards to the whole line. That's her area of study. U.S. is a Christian nation in trouble. So they say America has lost its fire with growing materialism, secularism, humanism, sexual immorality, and missionaries are therefore needed to bring spiritual revival to America. Can we say no to that? And in the world of spiritual warfare, all of Christianity will be jeopardized if the United States fell as a dominant Christian nation. So it becomes the most spiritual territory for missionaries to be safeguard Christianity, to be the dominant world religion. So again, the question is, do we perceive ourselves the same way? And I think that the church, if it is only focused inward on itself, it will lose its spiritual heritage, become more materialistic, secular, humanistic, and will lose its dominance and its role that God has had for us to play for the rest of the world. Any questions so far? Yes?
I have a question. I definitely could be missing the boat here. But what are we counting as like a missionary? Like what's the measure of that?
Question is, what is the measure of a missionary?
Yeah, like how are we like measure? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
A lot of the people that are coming here are starting churches. And they are bivocational. In fact, majority of the people that are coming are doing this as bivocational. Just because they're not settled, they need to support themselves, but at the same time doing outreach and reaching out. So if you're going to a Muslim country, if you will, it's going to be bivocational. You can't go in and say, my passport says you are a missionary. You're going to have some other job that you are doing to legitimize that you're there. And for these other people, the same kind of thing is we are here for a purpose. Let's go on here in regards to Islam. 97 unreached people groups are found here in the United States. And of the unreached people groups, 55 of the 97 fall into the category of Muslim. So when we were looking at saying, well, in regards to missions, what we want to do is to reach the unreached peoples, 97% or 97 unreached people groups are here, and 55 of them happen to be, or in other words, a majority of them are Muslim. So it becomes one of the important parts that we need to sort of look at in regards to the way this is set up. And it's estimated between 4 to 5 million Muslims in the U.S. today. The growth is primarily through immigration, secondary through birth rate. So this is sort of one of the things that is driving this. There are about 25,000 converts to Islam each year, but I will make a caveat here. Of the converts, and this is done by a study that Muslims have done on the mosques in the United States. They've done every 10 years a mosque study, and the most recent one was 2020. And I read that report, and they honestly said, we cannot keep our converts. They come in and they leave. They just a revolving door. So they recognize that they have a big PR problem. Most of the people that remain in the mosque are those that adopt the lifestyle and the dress of the mosque of where they're coming from. So if it happens to be say, a Pakistani mosque, then you would have to wear a salwar kameez. And you would have to dress and eat the food and everything else. If it's an Arab mosque, and then you'd have to dress like the Arabs in their ways, and learn their language and other things. And if you can't, then you're second-class citizens, and then they don't stay for very long, and then they leave. And the big thing here is about 7,000 American women marry Muslims each year. And most of the ones that I know of end in divorce, and there are kids that are involved, and then the custody of the kids becomes a big, big issue. And it just becomes a very big mess. And Islam may soon replace Judaism as the second largest religion in the United States. So right now it's not, but that's where it tends to be going. And the number of mosques has grown from 160 in 1960 to over 2,700 here in 2021. So there is the growth of mosques, particularly where we are here in the western suburbs of DuPage County. It has the highest percentage of Muslims. In the Chicagoland area, it's 3%. In DuPage County, it's 6%. And you can see that by the mosques that are being built. And it's because many of them have become doctors, engineers, and there's a lot of money. They have moved out to the western suburbs, and of course they have built and poured the money in to these mosques. So that's happening in urban areas all over.